The Building of the Temple by Louis Ginzberg. Among the great achievements of Solomon, first place must be assigned to the superb temple built by him. He was long in doubt as to where he was to build it. A heavenly voice directed him to go to Mount Zion at night, to a field owned by two brothers jointly. One of the brothers was a bachelor and poor, the other was blessed both with wealth and a large family of children. It was harvesting time. Under cover of night, the poor brother kept adding to the other's heap of grain, for although he was poor, he thought his brother needed more on account of his large family. The rich brother, in the same clandestine way, added to the poor brother's store, thinking that though he had a family to support, the other was without means. This field, Solomon concluded, which had called forth so remarkable a manifestation of brotherly love, was the best site for the temple, and he bought it. 57. Every detail of the equipment and ornamentation of the temple testifies to Solomon's rare wisdom. Next to the required furniture, he planted golden trees, which bore fruit all the time the building stood. When the enemy entered the temple, the fruit dropped from the trees, but they will put forth blossoms again when it is rebuilt in the days of the Messiah. 58. Solomon was so assiduous that the erection of the temple took but 7 years, about half the time for the erection of the king's palace, in spite of the greater magnificence of the sanctuary. In this respect, he was the superior of his father David, who first built a house for himself, and then gave thought to a house for God to dwell in. Indeed, it was Solomon's meritorious work in connection with the temple that saved him from being reckoned by the sages as one of the impious kings, among whom his later actions might properly have put him. 59. According to the measure of the zeal displayed by Solomon, were the help and favor shown him by God. During the 7 years it took to build the temple, not a single workman died who was employed about it, nor even did a single one fall sick. And as the workmen were sound and robust from first to last, so the perfection of their tools remained unimpaired until the building stood complete. Thus the work suffered no sort of interruption. After the dedication of the temple, however, the workmen died off lest they build similar structures for the heathen and their gods. Their wages they were to receive from God in the world to come. 60. And the master workman Hiram, 61, was rewarded by being permitted to reach paradise alive. 62. The temple was finished in the month of Bul, now called Marheshwan, but the edifice stood closed for nearly a whole year, because it was the will of God that the dedication take place in the month of Abraham's birth. Meantime the enemies of Solomon rejoiced maliciously. Was it not the son of Bathsheba? They said, who built the temple? How then could God permit his Shekinah to rest upon it? When the consecration of the house took place, and the fire came down from heaven, they recognized their mistake. 63. The importance of the temple appeared at once, for the torrential rains which annually since the deluge had fallen for 40 days beginning with the month of Marheshwan, for the first time failed to come, and thenceforward appeared no more. 64. The joy of the people over the sanctuary was so great that they held the consecration ceremonies on the Day of Atonement. It contributed not a little to their ease of mind that a heavenly voice was heard to proclaim, "You all shall have a share in the world to come." The great house of prayer reflected honor not only on Solomon and the people, but also on King David. The following incident proves it. When the ark was about to be brought into the Holy of Holies, the door of the sacred chamber locked itself, and it was impossible to open it. Solomon prayed fervently to God, but his entreaties had no effect until he pronounced the words, "Remember the good deeds of David thy servant." The Holy of Holies then opened of itself, and the enemies of David had to admit that God had wholly forgiven his sin. In the execution of the temple work, a wish cherished by David was fulfilled. He was averse to having the gold which he had taken as booty from the heathen places of worship during his campaigns used for the sanctuary at Jerusalem, because he feared that the heathen would boast at the destruction of the temple, that their gods were courageous, and were taking revenge by wrecking the house of the Israelitish God. Fortunately, Solomon was so rich that there was no need to resort to the gold inherited from his father, and so David's wish was fulfilled. 66.